Hi, welcome everyone, and thank you for making the time to join this conversation. Thank you for filling out your questions so that we can tailor the content today based on your answers. This webinar will be recorded and it will be shared with you the following week. The way we will structure the conversation today is I will do a brief overview of who Plain Concepts is, pass it to Paco to speak about how legal services firms can address their challenges and stay abreast of trends through data-related digital transformation, along with some examples of how customers have benefited from modernizing their data estate. Then I will speak about AI and knowledge mining and how it can benefit legal firms, provide a few examples, and we'll wrap it up. As we go, please type your questions in the question box. We'll stop after each section to address them. And you can freely type any comments. They can be just private for us. But before I dive in, my name is Monica Stefan. I'm the UK commercial lead here at Plain Concepts. I'm joined by our technical lead, Paco. And I would like to welcome our guest, Harry Turner, who is leading data and AI and customer transformations at Microsoft. He'll open the conversation on the future of technology and legal industry.
Perfect. Thank you, Monica. Morning, everyone. Just to echo Monica's comments around thanking you for your time for joining this webinar, much appreciated. My name is Harry Turner, data and AI Azure lead for legal within the UK. I just wanted to take 2 minutes to sort of set the scene on the work we're doing with Plain Concepts and why we were keen ultimately to set this series up. Really excited about sort of the content that's coming not only in this webinar but also in subsequent series as well. We're seeing huge transformation with our legal firms in the UK that we're working with around adopting cloud technology, but more specifically focused around today harnessing the data and knowledge that exists within the firm itself and being able to leverage all the types of benefits that we're going to sort of talk around in use cases that we're really starting to bring to life. You can start to see on the screen here that we won't go into too much detail. Most of the content's built into the next sort of 25 minutes or so, but really wanted to bring to life some of the really exciting use cases that we're working on, from everything from transforming data silos. So how do we start to merge and improve data quality across all the disparate systems that you may or may not have? And then being able to innovate and provide additional insight and analysis over the top of that. So especially post-COVID, we're seeing a lot of firms creating new products and new services and ultimately new revenue streams by tackling and adapting their go-to-market strategy, and all the way through to sort of knowledge mining, like Monica said, around contract analysis, leveraging machine learning in our Azure search service to analyze and automate the analysis of contracts, or specifically key clauses within those for GDPR purposes or whatever else. And then we've also got some exciting use cases around automation of document creation and also digital sales and tender processes. So we're seeing huge drive from firms to become much more fixed price. When we have the conversation with the firms around how they're driving their fixed price strategy, is very, very finger in the air type of approach. So actually having and arming the firms with data and insight to be able to enable that bid optimization, so to speak, to meet industry demands of fixed price, but ensuring that you're meeting and maximizing your profit margins as well. So there's some really, really great content. We're doing huge amounts of work with Plain Concepts in this space. So without any further ado, I'll hand over to the guys to sort of walk through some of the key focuses of today.
Thank you so much, Harry. So if you're wondering who Plain Concepts is, we've been around 14 years, originally from Spain. We're currently at 14 offices from US to Europe and Dubai, and we've recently expanded in the UK, partnering with Microsoft. Although today we will only focus on data and AI, our skills span across the entire technology stack, whether it's web and mobile development, IoT, even mixed reality. We have a strong partnership here with Microsoft in Redmond, and as such, we have early access to product development and engineering teams in the data and AI space. We really work across all industries and are able to capture insights. These are just a few UK customers highlighted here. At core, we're a professional services company developing custom solutions. However, in the last 5 or 6 years, we've really focused on data and AI. And from all of these customer challenges and needs, we've packaged our data platform, Sidra, which is a data lake designed to help you accelerate your data modernization, data movement, and create these intelligent solutions with artificial intelligence and advanced analytics. And one great benefit is that an MVP is really easy to build and quick to prove the value to your leadership. So Paco, I'll pass it on to you to talk more about this.
Yep. Thanks, Monica. As Monica said, I'm the team lead at the UK team in Plain Concepts. We've been involved in many different projects in the UK with different legal firms. And I've also been part of the team that started working on Sidra and the product that I'll be speaking about to you later. Now, the main focus of this conversation is legal innovation through AI. And when we speak about with our clients about legal innovation through AI and what it means for them, these are some of the terms that come during that conversation. You know, we want to classify our documents. We want to detect outliers in our documents. We want to perform some knowledge extraction or semantic search. We want to do forecasting, and all of that is fantastic, and it's actually the end of the journey. But in order to do that, in order to arrive at that point, there's a need for qualified data. You need to be able to work with data that's available, that's trustworthy, data that you can trust, data that is ready to be consumed by the use case in the easiest ways possible, data that arrives at the specified times. And that is something that we can help. That's something that's one of the many challenges. One of those is regarding the gathering of this data, which is at the base of the initiatives, is the data storage. At this point in time, many scenarios, many clients are working with what we call silos. They have the mobile web data in a specific department. They have their case management in a different one. It doesn't even have to be in the cloud. It doesn't even have to be digital, right? The financial data is in the ERP or CRM system. Social data or ads data or marketplace data is on a complete separate layer, because it's not even within the company. It may belong to third parties. The idea here is that if we can manage to gather those together in a single layer, in a single scenario, we can not only leverage those individually, but we can start seeing relationships within them, right? And that's one of the benefits of having a comprehensive data strategy. Another one of the issues that many firms are facing is controlling the access to the data, right? There are different tools for this. One of the most important one is HR Active Directory, but that's not the only one. HR Active Directory is great, but with many products, if you go to the next slide, Monica, with many scenarios, you're going to want to have different identity providers. We want to complement HR Active Directory with other tools, not only our internal Active Directory, but also third parties or a partner or a customer. If we want to collaborate, both Monica and myself will be focusing on having new sources of revenue, and that sometimes means that we need to give access to the platform or to the software, to the data, and we may not have the rights, or we may not want to grant access to our internal Active Directory. We may use some tools to work with other entity providers. Now, on the compliance, that's again another very interesting scenario, because we see more and more regulations arriving regarding the right to be forgotten, regarding the control of personal data, regarding where that data can be stored, whether or not it can leave specific boundaries of a country. All those things are very important to take into account, especially when you're working with machine learning or artificial intelligence and working with personal data. It's not only the fact that you need to take into account the where are you storing the data, but also what are you doing with it, and whether or not you're going to be able to undo what you have done. If a customer asks you to delete the data that you have about him, how are you going to be able to do so if that data is not in a single repository, but has been leveraged in different use cases and it's scattered throughout the landscape? This boils down to the data strategy, and specifically the data strategy at law firms. We have seen time and again that this is built upon three different blocks. First of them is the rapid development of use cases. You want to be able to drive an MVP, to drive a POC, to have something that can prove whether or not a specific use case is valuable or not. Second of those would be having a single surface for governance and GDPR and other regulation scenarios. And the third of those will be sharing this data and the models and the applications, not only within the company, but also with third parties, right? So it's both internal and external sharing. And the reason I'm telling you all of this is to put a bit more focus on the actual data part of the scenario. The use cases that we're going to see, most of those have to do with AI, but in the end, in order to drive those, you need to have your data taken care of. For that, what we are successfully leveraging in many clients is Sidra, is the data platform that we have developed here at Plain Concepts. I'm going to go very briefly over the actual architecture of it. In the end, the idea for the data platform is to serve as a tool to, first of all, have a quick deployment of an infrastructure, be able to gather data from the data sources, whether they are structured or unstructured data, and then be able to provide some shared services on top of that, the different use cases. You want to have your marketing analytics, you want to have a data lab scenario, you want to do some exploratory data analysis, you want to have your Power BI dashboards. All of those will gather the information from the lake that will serve as that repository that we previously mentioned. Some of the characteristics that it needs to have. It has to be reliable, it has to be easy to access, it has to be timely, it has to be easy to use, trustworthy, and all those. And some of those shared services that can be offered here are things such as the automation of the intake processes, the fact that the gathering of that data is as easy and painless as possible. The machine learning systems in order to leverage not only internal machine learning models that the platform has in order to detect anomalies or to enrich the data, such as document data, extracting knowledge from it, but also all the models that you may develop. The data governance features in order to control the ownership of that data and the shape of it, and be able to faster have the knowledge of the data available in order to drive those use cases, and the security and identity that we previously mentioned as well. So Monica, So one of the other things that I wanted to mention is, and this ties with the fact that data regulations are different in different countries, is the fact that you probably want to have different storage unit, what we call data storage unit, which is physical separations of all the services. So you can have data stored in different data centers on top of Azure. The whole platform is built upon Azure, and thus comply with the local regulations in every place. And as I mentioned, some of the benefits that the platform offers are focused on the data intake, right? Speeding up the data intake as much as possible. In some clients, we've had scenarios where they already had a data platform built on Azure by themselves, but it was manually operated. So every data intake that they had to make took a few persons a week. And that's something that we can do in a matter of hours or days at the worst. So automating those processes speeds up the whole adoption of the data, and it speeds up the capabilities of the use cases to go further. And also the fact that it's a multimodal scenario, so you can load data from structured and unstructured data. Regarding the use cases, well, as we mentioned, the idea is to support the different use cases for the company. We're going to go over some of those right now. I have a couple of those. One is data management, modernization. This is a scenario where a client had different data sources, right? Its department of the company had what they call their initiatives, their own scenarios to work with, their own use cases, and its team was responsible for every step. It was responsible of gathering the data from the different sources, transforming it, storing it, the whole infrastructure. There was no company-wide data strategy. each department could work with different third parties to help them, third-party partners, and it was very, very complex to get anything done. And whenever it was done, it usually had a lot of issues. Technology disaggregation, it was hard to get that into production. Costs sometimes were outrageous. So what we did was deploy Sidra Platform in order to get the different data sources into it, sources that ranged from the CRM systems of the company for the financial use cases to documents that showcased the details. This was an oil gas company that showcased how they were doing in different scenarios and extracted information from them and help them build those use cases and provide a controlled environment so they could know, well, we have to do things this way. It's easy to access the data because it's in a single repository. We know which technologies we can use to leverage that data so we can do it faster and we can do it in a more reproducible way without having stray use cases. Another very interesting scenario is the 360 customer view. In this one, the customer had data from a mainframe as well as different operational and reporting databases, and they wanted to obtain a 360 view of the customer in real time, which was very important for them. So what we did was develop a solution that had Sidra at its core and build a client application that used Power BI to leverage these capabilities. And we also integrated with Salesforce, which was their CRM in real time, to be able to provide them with its 360 customer information. This is going to help them diagnose consumption patterns, to understand their clients more, and accelerate their decisions and have a faster decision making by having this insight about the customer in real time. I think those two are the main scenarios that I wanted to discuss regarding data by itself and how it can be used beyond AI and machine learning. Now I'm going to leave it to Monica, who's going to take us about the knowledge mining scenarios.
Thank you for that, Paco. And I was just thinking when you were speaking about the data modernization use case, that's also an excellent scenario for the times where we have helped customers post mergers and acquisitions. So whether it's connecting different departments or different subsidiary data sets and tools, all functions in the back end. And now to knowledge mining. For those who don't know, knowledge mining is an extremely relevant tool for legal today. In fact, 68% of leaders believe that knowledge mining is important to address their company's strategic goals in the next fiscal. But where does it all come from? In this day and age, content is abundant and constantly being created, with over 2.5 quintillion bytes of new data every single day. And the challenge is that 80% of this data is unstructured. So in fact, based on research and your own answers, 80% of you believe that understanding and using this unstructured information is a significant challenge for their organization. This is where knowledge mining can help address multiple challenges by creating these relationships and patterns in body of information of all types, extracting insights or future innovations, and automating repetitive tasks, which ultimately leads to reducing costs. In fact, in some of the projects we've seen employee productivity go up to 61%. So I wanted to sort a few of the key use cases that we see within knowledge mining. First one is what I call intelligent search, where companies have more files and more unstructured data that they don't know what to do with it. The knowledge mining can help through a search index and make it easier for your customers and for employees alike to find what they're looking for a lot faster. Secondly is the data extraction. So manual data entry is often time-consuming and error-prone. Knowledge mining streamlines these processes by extracting the information from the business documents and funneling it automatically into the business application, thus reducing the time spent on the task and the cost. technical content review. When organizations task employees with reviewing and researching technical information, it can be tedious to read page after page of these dense texts. Knowledge mining helps employees quickly review these materials, and especially in industries like legal, where bidding competition is fierce or diagnosis of a problem must be quick, companies can use knowledge mining to avoid mistakes. Auditing and compliance, which is an ever-changing world, moving fast. Staying on top of audits and compliance can be challenges, and mistakes in records or contracts can also have serious financial consequences. And even a team of lawyers might not be able to catch all that, but this is where knowledge mining can help. Unlocking new insights. Knowledge mining models enrich documents, meaning they can extract the information from formats such as images, where at a quick search, the information would normally be locked, and make this data searchable to your employees or customers. And finally, knowledge bots. Knowledge bots can be designed to provide and retrieve any information on any topics, answering hundreds of questions. Now, before I go to the first project, I wanted to ask if any of these use cases are something that you have considered doing, or something that you think would benefit your team, or maybe didn't think possible. If you would like, type them in the chat box. So the first customer in the contract and regulation compliance space had millions of pages of documents and over 50,000 of contracts that needed reviewing, mostly unstructured data, images. In their case, any mistake or lack of compliance would be costly. So our solution enabled them to extract this information from all types of PDFs, documents, images, and build a quickly searchable knowledge database. The technology industry team for this process is enriching a document. Now, the benefit of this project was reducing the time to find the important information, cost, because employees' time spent is now reduced, and of course the value of the new insights unlocked. Another example, like Harry said, the legal industry is moving from time and materials to fixed cost projects. So legal firms now more than ever are focused to accurately estimate their costs and make sure to keep them low in order to increase profitability per matter. In this case, this firm was unsure if the fixed cost of the project would cover the cost of manually extracting the case information, because the case information was printed on scans of various quality, right? Our solution was able to accelerate this ingestion and organization of information, which resulted in increasing the potential profitability of this case and helped our client reconsider whether they're pursuing the case or not. And finally, another interesting challenge, and I think this is for everyone, is editing, reviewing, analyzing contracts is such a time-consuming and resource-intensive task, just like our customer, who manages hundreds, even thousands of contracts for each of their clients. They needed to identify whether there's missing clauses, term definitions, any deviation from standards. So our solution helped them automate identifying and extracting these clauses and even visualize it in a web interface. As such, now the client has the ability to redact documents, find information needed faster and more accurately, without having to spend budget on resources to conduct this work manually. Any questions? No? So, knowledge mining, we've spoken about it a lot, but it's just one area of artificial intelligence. There's many more ways in which data and AI can help accelerate your business. For example, it can help create new revenue streams. It can help automate case management from the first client engagement until the matter is settled, even integrate with third-party stakeholders or agencies. Assigning matters to fee earners based on the size or settlement potential of the case. Capture matter-related insights with conversational AI, measure ROI of efforts such as marketing campaigns, and even consolidating financial data to make reporting easier. We will dive deeper into all of these in our next webinar in September with our AI MVP. Now, I know I've packed a lot in these 30 minutes and we're at time, but we're happy to spend additional time with each and every one of you to help devise how your company can transform. In fact, we offer complimentary follow-up sessions to this webinar. Also, we have packaged an accelerator program to help you get started on this transformation journey and prove the power of Microsoft Cloud Services and data by developing a business scenario personalized to your challenges. We will make sure to share information on this. And if we didn't get any questions, we will follow up by email. And thank you again so much. Looking forward to connecting with you soon.
Thank you very much, everyone.